L'chaim, l'chaim, whoever gets a l'chaim from me now is going to have nishim Elohim. Chaim, l'chaim. Amen. B'kar mamish yakar, b'ralech maydai, b'shidduchim. One after another, every can do anything. Hakol yachal. Now, schnapps. Give them schnapps. Give the guys. Give them a goose. Yeah. Yeah. Bring out all the cups. Give them a knock over there. We have goose. We have kissing caramels. We have Jack. We have Stolichnaya. You know what that is? You ever have Stolichnaya? This is chashiv. This is salted caramel. Anaya matzah. He says, Freilach. And thank you so much, Rabbi Yafi, for reminding me to say thank you. What would I do without you? And I'd like to thank Torah Anytime, Kavashkacha Pratis, and Kol HaLoshen. And we're going to have Mitzvah Hashem this Chanukah. Klal Yisrael is going to be knocking. We're going to turn over the world. And all those holy Jews are taking over. All those holy Jews. Now listen to this story, Rabbi Isai. Somebody calls me up, Mendel, I have a Maisa. He says, the Ger Rebbe came to America. And he needed a place to stay. So here's Chasidus, he's got a big, where do you put them in? So Bells just built a big giant Maisa, whatever, super big. And they said, Ger, come to us. We're giving it to you. And you know what Ger did? They used it, and they left them $500,000. Now the mice is united. First of all, Bells and Ger are two, they're both the greatest people in the world. Both of them. Each in his own way. They're both big Hasidus. Now, I know that everyone's getting along, but in Teva, people are human. What? I'm better, you're better. It would be normal that, especially the both from the Polish areas. Why are these guys fighting? You okay? These Jews are holy people. Not only they give away, Bells goes ahead and says, "Come to me," and go knock as much as you want. You know what an ayin tova that is to give away? We're giving away the whole Bells. Come, Ger, park yourself on us. It's so beautiful. How all these Bells see them with the Heilige Rebbe, what they did, what a Kiddush Hashem, and they come inside, the Macht, the Mamish Gemacht Freilach. You know what that is? Night in the days. There's a Meister of Chatzkel. Rabbi Yishvei was Master of Chatzkel. And Rabbi Yishvei said that he was coming from Lakewood, and discussing how good Lakewood is doing. And Reb Chatzkel heard. And as Reb Chatzkel, he said, my yeshiva, he overheard Reb Chatzkel talking to himself. My yeshiva, your yeshiva, my yeshiva, your yeshiva. Was dreit tak up, we're all there for the Eibishter. They worked on themselves. Anyway, Asher Chalkam, the holy Belzach Sidim, with the Heilige Rebbe, and the Geras come along. We're not just going to walk out of this. $500,000. We're supporting Bells. This is delicious. I'm so impressed. And I want to say, P.S., that was us. I take credit, of course. Why do I take credit? First of all, I like to take credit. That's Beshita. Beshita, I like to take credit. It's one of my, I'm a man of principle. One of my great principles in life is always take credit. I believe in that. Very stark. You think I'm joking, huh? You don't know how important that is. Anyway, but a Yid has to know, a Yid has to know that you have to realize it's us, these us Jews. Don't give me no stempels. Rabbi Chana Wasserman said, before Mashiach comes, say bye-bye to all the stempelach. Yeah, this stempel and that. God, I love stempelach. Rabbi Miller speaks about every Shevet had its degel. hold up your flag. This is what I'm all about. But again, this is between you and me. When Mashiach comes, we're going to be above all these things. And it's all the same. It's all Klal Yisrael. We're together. When you do something good, it's me also. We're all together. It's us. And by the way, someone showed me, I said this from way back, I was Machadish Bezer Hashem, that when you see good in someone else, then you have a chelik and whatever he did. I told him, Rav Schlesinger, he told me it's Teres Emes. If I'm happy with when I pass by the menorahs of Hanukkah, the holy streets of Lakewood, or the holy streets of Borough Park or Williamsburg, I say, that's us. Thank you, Abishter. Look what they're doing. And Hashem loves that stuff. He loves it. I'm telling you, he likes it. Speak about nice things about Klal Yisrael. Go non-stop. They say Levi Yisrael Medichim used to be non-stop with his. We say good stuff. It's a lot of fun. Especially if you really can't stand the guy. Or you're jealous, you're green. Don't say you want to be in Novandik. No. You know, in Novandik, everybody knows if somebody will suddenly pop up and start saying, this guy's Givaldik, you say, uh-oh. Why did he say that for? Everything okay? You know, somebody, two Novandiks are kissing in the streets from head to toe. Uh-oh. Why did they have to do that? That's the matzav. I'm serious. But it's fine. I don't have any problems with anything. I'm gore holy, you know. I want to tell you why I keep saying that. It's not kedai to say, I have a problem, I have to work on it. It's not kedai. Sometimes it is, if you have a game plan, a mahalach, okay. But normally speaking, it pulls you down. Don't even say it. Who says you have a problem? Hold yourself a Muslim. What's a shlecht? I'm a Muslim. Come inside, make yourself comfortable. Anyway, Rabbi Say, this is a beautiful story, and I'm having such nachas from it. And in the next world, when you're happy with other people doing, and then you're going to get so much olam haba, so much. The truth is, the shitas are really nothing. It's all the same, except for Nobhardok. I'm joking. Nobhardok is taka special. No, I'm just joking. Anyway, now. You know, you can go around with envy all your life. You want to do it? You like that stuff? Go for it. Do you know, in Novhardok I was taught that people like to be stuck with their bad midos? There are certain addictions that, very serious stuff that lav dafka, the guy wants to get rid of it. You know, he likes his mud pie. Look, you can't chas v'chol, you got to daven your head off to pull yourself out of different things, whatever. But sometimes, I want to be a raid of kavod. It's a lot of fun. I want to remain a raid of kavod. You hear that? Was macht ihr? Kommt da rein. Macht euch heimisch. Kommt da rein. Yeah. Clap up the tip. Anyway, now I want to mention something. Speaking about Redifas HaKavod, listen closely. The people, I heard that Rav Aaron Leib said this. Somebody complimented me. One of the most chashuv rabbanim in Lakewood. This Rav, they say the Novominska, Zatzal used to give him names to daven. He's a gar the Hayben Mensch here in Lakewood, and he said he notices my Bטחון weeklies are constantly geared to not having kinna. I'm heavy into that. And I was mechaven. I just heard a Ma'aseh. They asked Rav Aaron Leib, what's public? All the problems, all kinna. Everyone's busy being jealous. And the number one aleph beis of Bטחון is, Sameach b'chelkai, I like what I have. Exactly. I don't care, don't give me, but he has this, don't complicate me. I like my Gemara, I like my Rebbetzin, my kids, my issues, my weaknesses, my mishigasin. Don't trade. You keep yours, I'll keep mine. Now here comes the story. It's a true story. This younger man is a top Rebbe. He's not the best. There's better. And he has, but he could be maybe a little warmer, but he's good. He's good. He's walking down the hallway in his school, and there are two boys next to him. One of them is holding his hand like abba, holding him and hugging him like this, and the other one's holding a little like that. What actually happened? Oh, so now listen to this. So the Rebbe, the parallel Rebbe, is coming down, and he gets white in the face. Look at that Rebbe, how they love him. Now look at me. You're dead. And nowadays you gotta love the Rebbe. You can learn nothing as long as you love him, but it's fine. Dava Trenk used to hold a lot. But leave him not there. But learn. He told this to me once. Learn. Okay. But the other Rebbe went berserk. They like he's the beloved Rebbe, and I'm like, no. So now, the guy left his head off. He told me that day, his whole class had just rebelled against him. The kid that was holding him, holding his hand, was a weird kid that's not 100%. He held him like this, and the other guy was also some other Maisa. That day, the class was about to kill the Rebbe because they hated him so much. And this Rebbe told it to me. And the other Rebbe is green with envy. Look, they like him, they don't like me. Did you ever hear such a story? It's a true story. I want you to know, all envy is ignorance. The Welt says, imitation is suicide, envy is ignorance. You're full of hot air. Stop having envy. You don't know what you're doing. You don't chop nothing. You don't know what's really happening. You think, Yitzhahara is having a ball. Just like with Moshe Rabbeinu by the Maisa Egel. Moshe Rabbeinu was, they showed him he's dead, he's not alive. Moshe Rabbeinu's gone, look. It was nifta, it was baloney. Dim yoin. In Novandik, they hold a lot. They used to say dimyan. That word dimyan is, they use it left and right in Novandik. Dimyan. It's loy hayu dvar me'olam. You're worried about something that doesn't exist. I hurt someone's feelings the other day. Oh, that's bitter. Come inside. Come to rein, let's see the beautiful stuff. Someone behind you, one of our senior members. How are you? Come inside. We have all ages. We have the old ones. We have all kinds. Anyway, the sweetest we have, So we have Chashav Yidin come all the way from Borough Park. The cream of Borough Park is not Shaykh. They come, Anyway, so what was I saying? So envy is ignorance. Your whole life, you're envious of these two Yiddinis. One is jealous of the other one. My sister, she has nachas, I never can't raise my kids. What's going on in this world. She married a Dus, and I married a Jens. And they go, Meshugav tight. You know what I tell people? The Eibishter trusts you more. So he gave you bigger nisyanis. You hear that? You having a sign? Hashem Eibishter trusts you more. Because the other one, Hashem's, I better give him a good life because he's not worth a penny. Let him have, let him cover it, he'll get see the Kedushin. Let him keep his see the Kedushin. Let him keep his shlishi, let him keep his his house with his well-dressed kinderlach on the mitziyanim. Let him have his mitziyanim and have his show off, all his nachas that the whole world has to hear about, He needs it, Nebuch. He needs it. You hear what I'm saying? I'm dead serious about this. I'm dead serious. When you see anybody that look, they're all better, say the following. Nebuch. Give Rabbi Yeshua. Chashav Yidin we have here. Sure. All it. Anyway, so when you see somebody who's doing better than you, baloney. Now I heard, that was Mechamed Rabbi Leib said exactly this. there's one problem all over the place, and that's Kenna. And there was this famous psychologist, he went against him. He said, no, there's other problems. And half a year later, he came back to Rabban Laban. He said, more I think about it, I realize that's the problem. Everybody's busy with his jealousy. He's, ooh, me. There's ladies, look at her house. It's sparkling. And look at what a slob I am. Her kids are having nervous breakdowns from her because she's so masudar. She's so in the box. Every kid better sit straight. He's turning into a robot. Rav Wolbe warns about this. Don't turn your kid into a robot. He says, do this, do that. You got to let kids breathe a little. But anyway, she's jealous like crazy because the other kids, look how she takes care of them. And look at the Shabbos table, it's knocking. You know, I heard this from a Manayel in the Cheder, big Manayel in the Cheder. Come tonight. You know what he said? You think, oh, you sit by the Shabbos table and everyone does what they're supposed to be doing. It's a myth. It's a myth. Where you make that one? Since when? There's no such thing. And everyone does. No, and you're supposed to do this. No, who says? They're supposed to be killing each other. They're supposed to be getting into fights. And the husband and wife, sometimes could be better. Or the parnasses, and whatever. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's normal. This utopia never happened and never will. It's you're dimming. What? Oh yeah, we got to move the table. One of my senior Gaboim has Bar Pesach he has a good point. I've got to get on a diet. Lately, Mechsidim are closing in on me. Kip Taran, Abbaisai. There's chairs. Give on. Let's go. Kip Taran. Oh, Chashabi now rolling in. Shtip. Abbaisai. Shtip. You know what happened to me on by Tashlach? You know, there's a minig. They all come to see them. They come to get the Rebbe's Avedas. They hold that the Rebbe's Avedas are better than your mitzvahs. So everybody wants to get the Rebbe's Avedas. So the guys were stipping me like crazy. You know, I was standing by Tashlach, and suddenly a whole mob is coming after me, and they're stipping. I says, don't sip so much. There's plenty of Avedas. You don't have to worry. You have to stip so. I tell you, all ladies, please, it's not for you. I'm going to say what I want now. The men are here. I say what I want. Please close off. Ladies, please. I think your friend wants to speak to you. Please. I think she has a new recipe. Get your new recipe. I want to say, anyway, this boy is talking to his father. And his father says, when Mashiach comes, Nashim Tzidkanius Negalo. So the kid says, I heard differently. I heard the Ein Ben David Ba, Achi Yichlik Pruta Menakis, when there's no money left. That's when Mashiach comes. And you tell me when the Nashim says, no, that's the same thing. So, okay, ladies, you can come back. I was just joking, please. I was just joking. The men are much worse. The men, yeah, we know the truth. The men are much worse. Okay, anyway, I'm just joking. Anyway, but the story goes like this. Now, this week, Ma'aridika Maisa happened to me. Ma'aridika Maisa, Rabbi said, this Maisa is a gold mine. Do you know that Rebel Yeshvei Zechet Tzadik Avracha? I heard it yesterday from an anacle of somebody on his stamp in Philly. Rebel Yeshvei pulled him aside and he said, without Musa, you're not going to steik. Rebel Yeshvei, you hear that? And he told the whole, I heard this the second time I heard this. I heard he had a whole group of his, Rebel Yeshvei had a whole group of Bachurim. It was Beinas Vanim. And he called them all over. Now I'm going to tell you something now. Without Musa, it's nothing. And while he said it, they thought he was, okay, come on. Musa, a few minutes, and 10 years later, every one of them said, he is so right. Musa Rebel Yeshvei said, you're not steiging. Without Musa, you're not going nowhere. Now I'm going to tell you about my Musa. Here comes. This happened this week. This week I had a day of Gehenna. Everything went wrong. The kids in class Oh no, everything went wrong. They didn't know, they didn't this, they didn't that, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, everything went wrong. It was a bad day. My chavrusa, Shem Yerachim. He made a remark, and I was, yeah, well, I don't know why, but it didn't go. I have 2 chavrusas. It didn't go neither. It didn't go. It was terrible. And the learning, last but not least, Bטחון weekly, it was the first time I said, I'm throwing in the towel. This week, no Bטחון weekly. I spent hours. I had my vetlach and talking to no, it's not good. No, you can't say this. No, you can't say that. I was getting so dizzy. I decided, then I said, wait a minute. You forgot about Musa. Verpackt de Welt. You know what Musa means today? To me, Musa means verpackt de Welt. Listen to this. I decided, let's forget. But you have so much work to do. You have hours of work. Let the world hang itself. I'm not interested in learning. I'm not interested in teaching. Stafnish the ganze Bטחון weekly. Go hang yourself. I don't need you. I don't want you. I'm not interested. Don't give me the covet. Don't give me the zikir rabim. Don't give me nothing. I'm learning Musa. I'm sitting alone with the Rebbeinu Shalom. I couldn't care less. I verpackt the whole system. Don't pressure me. And I sat back and I started learning Shara Bטחון. There's an Eibishter. Forget us. Everything's a distraction from the Eibishter. And I sat down and I chilled out. Like, nothing matters. Nothing counts. It's not important. Who cares? It's all covered. Oh, you did this, you did that. Not a good chavrusa. Don't learn. You don't like, I'm not good at Rebbe. You know what you're doing. Talking with you came out, didn't come out. Who cares? Who cares? If I pack the whole system. It's done. I'm not interested. Now, boy say, I had a short Musa Seder. Well, I stretched it out a little bit. I have a quota. Right after that Musa Seder, the world opened up. On the spot, I made one last call about my Bטחון. Suddenly, things started moving. The next day, my chavrusa, for the rest of the week, we never learned so good. My class is knocking. Everything's rolling. You know why? Malad Musha from Bטחון in the Eibishter. Your whole life turns around. You're a different bria. Well, you don't care so much. This has to be. What has to? There's only one thing. Ein oimo vadai. Who cares? There's nothing in this world anyway except. Hey, zok the heilige Rambam Menachos Mezuzah ein davar oimed laad loylei lamim el yedias surah oilam. You're going to take nothing with you that's going to stand forever except Yedias Surah Olam. That there's an Eibishter in the world. Don't give me the Eibishter. I have you. I don't need nothing. Don't complicate my life. I have one Eibishter. That's story 1. Listen closely. Story 2. How did I get into such a rotten day, which I'm seriously not used to? A bad day. When do I have a bad day? I never have a bad day. I just told my wife what a great day I had today. She says, okay, what am I supposed to believe? What is it supposed to mean? What does that mean? Is it because never say is it one of those? I says, no, it's real. This time, I'm going to say it's real anyway. But Grad, it was very good. Reason we did a whole pair. We finished the whole pair. The kids all knew it. I was in Gan Eden today. I davened very hard. I was very tzabrochen. I felt the kid didn't know it. I daven a lot. You know, it says you're not supposed to forget your talmidim. You know, you're supposed to always daven for them. The Heilige Chavetz Chaim says you're supposed to constantly daven for your kindlach, that they should have dibnei Torah, they should have midas Torah day and night, daven for your children. I daven my talmidim all here and there. Eibishter, please help those kids. Those 9-year-old punks should stop picking on me. I'm joking. They should leave me alone. They should leave me. Stop picking some of your own. You know, nowadays the kids are in charge. You know that. Kabbalah is bincha. Isn't that the mahalach? So don't pick on me. I'm from the Nebuch, you know. When I started teaching, I used to look for the oldest malamed I could find. To get the real, I did that. I went to Berman. Remember the old Berman? how to teach Mishnayos. He gave me a whole derech. I met him sitting next to me. He's a famous old Durka Bakana Machanach. In Borough Park, he had hundreds of kids learning with him. No, he was a big koyach. So I went to see this one, that one. As the years went by, when I want to find out how to teach, if a guy's in the line 10 years already, you're outdated. I don't touch guys like you, who just started teaching a half year ago. He's the only guy that knows what's going on. Because you got to be with the latest. You have to know what's happening. Anyway, I'm in my own world anyway. I teach, there's one Eibishter. You know, it used to bother me. I was very much involved in telling stories of the Eibishter and the Eibishter and the Eibishter. In the beautiful world, the cuttlefish. I have my stories about the Eibishter's delicious world. There's an arrowfish. Should I start? We'll go on forever. There's a seagull, you know. Okay, I'll say, well, I'll make it this. There is the herring gull, they go, a seagull, he has a red beak. He has a red dot over here. A seagull. What we need that for? When he goes fishing, he comes up with a fish, and he has to feed his bubblach. There's a little begalach. They're all sitting in the nest. They open up their mouths wide. It's so delicious. David's this beautiful world. He can't swallow that fish. He's going to choke on it. How is he going to eat that fish? The mommy fish, the mama bird takes a nice feta fish. She can swallow it. She's got a big beak. She's got a big stomach. But this little booby, he's going to choke on it. So all the mommy has to do, she comes, stops on the nest, and she swallows her fish. And the little babala knows one thing. When you see red, say knock, knock. And the beak, she knows this instinctively, the little babies. So they knock on that red beak, which is right in a certain, you should know. When you want to make someone vomit, if he swallowed something he shouldn't have swallowed, you have to press a certain spot that makes the person regurgitate. You know that. So ask all the first aid guys. You know, somebody swallowed poison. What's happened to me? Once my parents left me home alone, and I was a little kid, and I had a little cold, and I said, I'll take some aspirin. You'll be, oh yes, sure. And I had a bottle of aspirin, and anyway, so I took one. I said, let me try another one. I was a little kid. I took another one. Still not better. It could be better. The more the better. Before you turned around, it was over. I took the whole business. My parents came home. How are you feeling? That's fine. You took some aspirins? Yeah. How many did you take? I took the whole bottle. It's a true story. I took the whole bottle. My father went, no, what? You took the whole bottle? Oh no, my father was going with sugar. So my father maybe he gave me some He took some boiling hot water. He knew my father he knew everything. And put a lot of salt. And take it down, Bubba. Take it. I had to take it down. And that makes whatever. Then my father stuck his finger there. He says, there's one. I see there's another 3 over there. They're coming out one by one. That's the miser. Anyway, so the Eibishter, you have to thank the Eibishter for your father. A thing like that. My father. Among other things, he got me, I needed stuff to say. Thanks to my father, I have some more material. Make some yidden laugh. I hold the jokes I tell about my shver. When I tell his jokes, it's a seisiv doyres bekeber. When I say I'm zicha. No, jokes more than anything. What's the child? Anyway, but he still wants people to laugh. So let me tell you the story. So he goes knock knock. The little baby knows. You see a red dot, and that red dot is punk. That's the spot that makes things come out, and out comes gefilte fish. It's digested. You know, David does the job. He doesn't have to get himself like mommy and get a blender and start, making a whole chasana to blend to make gefilte fish. It's automatic. As soon as you go, the stomach does the job and starts mushing around. And before you turn around, out comes gefilte fish. The baby is, oh man, that was great. Right out of your stomach. Was kann sein besser? I'm just giving one story. I got millions of these. I'll keep you here forever. You want to talk about the Abish's delicious world? What a beautiful world. Ha! English shy. So anyway, how did I get into this? So I'm very, very into these bטחון stories. I once had a Maisa. Oh boy. I got a phone call. A horror story. Someone in Mishpacha had a serious medical issue. And I was shaking up and down. I got in the middle of class. I couldn't even focus. I couldn't teach. I spent a half an hour. And 4 doctors said, it's over. This child is going to be Hashem Yirachim. They already saw and they checked. And it's nothing. It's over. And the Rosh Hashiva of the people who called me up, who is the most positive person in the world, even he said, it's over. This is not going to be a normal child. Kach mekach happened. Whatever it is, it's over. And then they call me. Call Mendel. And Mendel gets back into class. And Mendel starts talking about the Eibishter, the stories that I have, the nisim that I have with medical stuff, these type of things. These type of, and one, and another, and another, and another, and another. For a half an hour, the kids are listening. And what happened to the curriculum? What's curriculum? Oh, yeah, you have to cover them, finish the parsha. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm telling my stories for half an hour. I come upstairs. It's a new matzah. You hear that? They went to a new doctor and everything's fine. I told them on the phone, everything's fine. Because I started feeling different. And they have a Rosh Hashiva who is one of the Gedolei Yisrael, by far the biggest of the big, and he's super positive, and he's about Meifis. They had Meifis with him, and he already was Miyash. And I came up, and do you know how many stories I have? Okay, there was a war that took place. I'll tell you which war it was in Eretz Yisrael. It's Mikates. That's next week. Okay. So they're in there. Rabbi Lang, where are you? Rabbi Lang, wie bist du? Where's your beautiful stuff? They're outside. Rabbi Lang has, not shy. Anyway. So, what was that? Where am I up to? No, you guys got to help me. What? The war. Oh, listen. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be a first-class Baal Gaivanik. If anybody wasn't sure my madrega of Gaius by tonight, it's clear. You know what Rabbi Yerucham says about Gaiva? Rabbi Yerucham Levovitz. This is not Slobodka. Take a look over there, and Das Torah over there, on Parshas Noach by the Mamorim. It's required reading. An Onav has to believe that there ain't anybody that's worse than me. Everyone's better than me. Moshe Rabbeinu said it. Ramban says Moshe Rabbeinu. And the one that's working in Vayik Balibai holds, there's nobody out there that's not worse than me. I mean, everybody's worse than me. I'm sorry. I am better than every single person. Nobody out there is better than me. I'm the best. Rabbi Yerucham says it. He brings rayas. Rabbi Yerucham. You know what he says? When you learn, when you learn, you got to be higher. So he says there's a Gemara in Shabbos of Laman on the days. Rabbah. Before he started learning, he started cracking jokes. Guess what the jokes was? He made fun of the whole world, show how they're all stupid. We're all better than them. That was the B'dichusa. He made fun of the world. Rabbi Yerucham teaches that up. He said, so Rabbi Sai, we're getting together. Let's be Mekayim, Rabbi Yerucham. Nobody's better than us. Let's face it, we're way ahead of everybody. But anyway, Rabbi Yerucham says, no, Rebbeim speaks about Galus or Odom, where you got to hold from yourself. He goes to town. No, he sounds just like me. Or I sound like him. It's murder. You have to hold from yourself. And you keep going more and more. Hold from yourself. Anyway, where am I up to? So no? Tell me where I'm up to. Who? I said, the Daily Yisrael, one after another, said, this is serious. And I said, it's not. We're going to be fine. And I was right. Chutzpah. Mendel, that's the way you talk? That's the way you Daily Yisrael. I'll tell you another one. My Rebbe. Twice my Rebbe. Once my Rebbe here, once my Rebbe there, had told me this is already too much. And I said, oh yeah? And I went to the car and started screaming, and I got a Yeshua. And another time was also Psazach, they gave up. And I said, I don't give up, and I was right. Now listen to me. The Gemara says, Yehuda asa l'kama de Rava. And he said, they asked him, what do you eat? That, wherever you go, you have to have the fanciest meal. He says, I'm not eating your stuff. I'm eating the Eibishter stuff. This is what I eat. That's what I want. You want to serve me? That's my diet. The most fanciest Tanagas Buvutemes, Yain Yoshin. As he's talking, there's a knock on the door. His sister, Rava, didn't see his sister in 13 years. She pops up, Ravala! Oh, how are you? And guess what I brought you? Tanagas Buvutemes, Yain Yoshin. So Rava said, this man. Now, who the Asal Lakama de Rava? If you don't get your name in Shas, I don't know how much you're worth. You're not Rava. But says the Alta from Novandig comes to Bטחון. It's a free world. You don't have to be big, small. Bטחון, you're on your own. You could be bigger than anybody. I've done these things. I've packed the whole world. But this Yidina, you know how much these yuckles are able to accomplish with that tefillah. Al Shema Kodesh has stories with Mr. Nobody. The way he down. There's a famous story, but he misunderstood part of davening. He didn't teach it right. What? What's that notion? V'arach hanoshim. Ladies needed the Yeshuas. So he said, instead of saying Mavarach Hashanim, he said Mavarach hanoshim. And they all had Yeshuas, all the ladies, because he believed, I'm down for you, Baruch HaNashim. Yeah, it's Baruch Aleinu, the end of Baruch HaNashim. And that's it, and it worked. It's a famous story. If guys are tummin, the world's open for you. Nobody can go against you. Bטחון, it's a free country. It's a free world. Bטחון, anybody can be zeichet to anything he wants. I wanted to mention something before. I had the reason why I had a bad day. Now listen to me. I have to fill up an hour of learning Musar. It's not easy. Believe me, it's much easier to learn Gemara, Mishnayos, Halacha. The learning Musar. If you want to fill up an hour, if you're going to learn 10-15 minutes Musar, but you got to learn the way I'm. It doesn't always work. And sometimes it gets on my nerves, and I just can't do it. And I'm makel sometimes. And what do? I did it today. The last 10 minutes I took out of Mishnayos. I can't hold out. Tell yourself, fill up the hour as long as I filled up my hour without absing. But the last few days, I was makel big time. And I took out a Hirsch. Hirsch is good. It's not Musa. Well, no, but it's Hirsch. Yeah. And black Gemara. Gemara is a Kodesh Kedoshim. I did some this and some that. Spiced it up. Come on, I didn't learn any Musa whatsoever. But I filled up the hour. I cheated big time. And I'm just saying, how does a Mendel get a bad day? I promise you. Since I'm learning Musa Bטחון for years, I don't know what a bad day means. Kamat. I'm in a different world. You get siyata d'shmaya. The Eibishter is with you. So this time, achap. Why did you have a bad day in the first place? Because you're cheating on Musa. But I'm learning, so what? But you're not learning Musa. And by the way, Rabbi Yishvei is talking about Musa in general. I don't know. I'm talking about Musa on Bטחון and the Eibishter. Bטחון Musa. By the way, what's his name, Rabbi Gamliel Rabinovich. He had a Rebbe. I think his name was also Rabinovich. Am I right? He had a Rebbe who gave shiurim to people, and he gave he gave Sichas Musa. He was a big guy in the tzaddik in Yerushalayim. He said like this: when he learns he gives shmuzin on learning Torah, shmuzes on midas. He says the only shmuzin that changes the person completely are the shmuzin on Amuna and Bטחון. Then he sees a new world opening up. You hear this? How do you like that one? You want to hear? I used to speak in the shows Beis Hamusa, their private way. I used to speak there once a week, every Thursday. And a young man came over to me. I spoke. He used to learn Musa B'Spilis, and I spoke for 10 minutes on Bטחון. He came over to me. His daughter told him, his teenage daughter, Ta, you didn't listen to Mendel Shmuz this week. How do you know? You're different. I don't recognize you. You're usually so much calmer. Whenever you hear the Shmuz, you hear Tamaisa. When you hear a Shmuz on Bטחון, Musa in general, what's his name? What's his name? His name was Tzaddik Yisayid Olam. He came into dreams to his children, Rubenstein. Shazelik Rubenstein. They have his farm here, Tzaddik, my father's Talmud. He said he gave my father credit for everything. He had him as a little kid. He lived in Far Rockaway with the butcher's son. He was with the Isbys. He was married to an Isby with the famous, illustrious tells the Mishpacha. He was one of the stars, the biggest Lumdim in Panovich. He was a Talmud of Rav Chatzkel. He was very, very chashuv. He told me that in Matostov, they had a half-hour Musa. They're going to pay for it. They started a thing. It was a kaitel there in Matostov. This younger man, his wife has 11 kids at home. Sorry, you can't go to that. We need you at home. 11 kids. The mother's dizzy. Listen to this story. He told me it. After 2-3 weeks, the mother said, don't come home. Go to that Musa Seder. He looked so different after learning Musa that it wasn't Kedai. Don't help me with the kids. You're a different Bria. I don't know what kind of Musa you learned, but that's Musa. Asher Zelig told me the story. And then I have my own story that I didn't hear. My story I understand. You didn't hear Mendel, that I can hear. That I can hear that something's not right. If you missed Mendel for one session, I mean, if you want to get people to laugh, always boast about yourself. Then I always get smiles from that more than anything else. If you want to get, by the way, Rabbis, you know what a big Mama Dre I am? You have no musig how big I am. I'm telling you. I know. The world thinks they think I'm a great guy. They have no musig how great I am. I'm Gogevaldik. How's that? Is that a good one? Caleb loves this stuff. Why do they laugh so much? I need it. And they're in Stata. Taka. You don't know my with the all right. Whatever. Anyway, so where am I up to? 8:44. Now I'm going to tell you, who is this? Okay, my latest Mifus. I promised somebody it just happened. This just happened. Guy calls me up. His wife has something, and blood is coming out, and and it's already it's a ganze lump, with a ganze dus, and there's pain, and the doctor already says, and I say, Loi hayid var me elam. Yeah? He calls me back a week later, exactly like what I said. It's nothing. Now here comes another one. The guy told me I should tell it over. See this guy. He has a daughter, 28 years old. He called me up 2 months ago. 28-year-old girl. You know what it means by Chassidim? I told you what happened. The last guy told me. He had a son who was 22, not married. I see the Shabbat 22 not married. What am I going to do? He tells me. I says, have an idea, become a Litvak. Anyway, he called me. I gave him a bracha a few months later. He's a chassan. I says, I don't remember who you are. He says, remember the guy you said, Vera Litvak? That's me. Anyway, that's who it was. Anyway, but this one, I told him like this. You have a 20-year-old girl, listen to this. And they're nice. I says, talk positive things about the girl. How great she is, how wonderful. Stop kvetching, and she'll get married. 2 months later, she's a kala. And he pushed his daughter to get on the phone. She had to tell me, B'pem, and you had given a nusach that you're going to get a top bacha with a top family. It's exactly what happened. Now you see what about Meifus I am? Does everybody know by now what my madrega? What do you say? As you can tell, I'm not exactly working on a nubba these days. So I just saw Rabbi Yerucham. I'm going to go against Rabbi Yerucham. I stick to the Amolig, Rabbi Yerucham said, got to be about Gavin. Now listen to Yosef HaTzadik. I said in this week's Bטחון Weekly, Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik verpackt the whole world. Listen to this one. The Alta von Novanik once heard a shmooze from the Alta von Kelm on the greatness of Yosef HaTzadik. And he got it, he was on his spell. You're going to take Bטחון Weeklies. Take as many as you can. Take them. Anyway, so he said, he got up and he says, let's all become a Yosef HaTzadik. And by the way, his name was Yosef. Listen to this one. Yosef HaTzadik. He gets up. First of all, they didn't like him about the Lashon Hara. It says they didn't like him. That's Aleph. Beis. Then he says, by the way, I saw you're all bowing down to my sheep. You're all bowing down to I'm the big, and all the 12 are bowing down to me. He says, they couldn't be Sabelin. So he says, wait a minute. He saw that they hated what he was saying. For the second time, they hated him plus already. This is already the second madrega of the sinner that's going on. So he says, there's 2 madregas. Wait till you hear this. I got more stuff to tell you. Just read the psukim. He says, this time I had even a better dream. This time it was 11 stars, and Tati and Mommy included. The sun and the Yerech, they're all bowing down to me. Isn't that an interesting mahalach? When you see everyone hates you, so instead of backing down a little bit, wait a minute, I got better stuff to tell you, so you can hate me even more. Just read the psukim. That's Novanik. I've seen this. I've seen Novanikers get up, barabim, and say, they're Kanayim. They don't like Tziyayim. Whatever, they're Kanayim. I mean, Reb Gershon. Different. Reb Gershon was somebody came that was a little bit, they got up one by one, and they said exactly what they think. And the guy was sitting there, he was plotzy, he was going out of his mind. And each one got up, and he's, you're plotzy? We're not finished with you. We have more stuff to tell you what we think. They didn't care. He started up with Tziyayim Reb Gershon. He got a hold of these kids from Eretz Yisrael. He brought them to France. And they said, we're going to put you, they put him on trial. And he laughed at them. The whole yeshiva was all depressed. But yeshiva was going to end up, Reb Gershon laughed. You're taking me to court? The Israeli government was after him. You know what he used to do? He used to get on the phone. And he called the Pe'ilim Chaber. He said, Huvali Bunim, V'mayim Maisu Noichi. You know what that means? I want those kids. Give me more kids. The first time I came, the hundreds of kids he had. He used to love them. When they arrived, he used to come. He used to kiss them. He loved little kids. He never had no kids. Listen to this. He never had any kids. He was such a happy person without kids. Between having kids and learning Musa, I recommend, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not recommending anything. But Reb Gershon Simcha, Reb Dave Schwartzman, was just having Ein Koach. I'm going way, way back. And I told Reb Gershon about, he said, he He was like in Gan Eden. Oh, he was like. I looked at him. This man, he had no kids. He had no wife. She was a casualty of Hitler emotionally. She was not a well person. He lived in Gehenna Plus with his wife. No kids. It wasn't shaykh. He was in Gan Eden. That's Musa. All these people kvetching about, I can't get along. I can't get along. No, you don't understand. I had to do with a Shalom Bayis situation. And I spoke to the family members who were against whatever, one of the parties who was killing each other. And they said, we know that party. We read all about what that type does. Narcissist, what are they called? Narcissist, what is that? They're famous, lately that's the in thing. Everyone's into that. OCDs, narcissist, bipolar, what else did he got? Passive aggressive, borderline personality. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I never heard of this. And each one, they read all about it, but listen to this. They said, the relative says, we got this guy's number. We read. He is kach v'kach. He's got that stempel. That's what they do, Pretty soon they'll be jumping off the roof. That's the matzah. Like, the stempel. I'm not gerisik. I'm not gerisik. Stemplach. You want to hear about schizophrenic? I told you last time already. It's not a pasha of Maisa. You know what schizophrenia is? You know what that is? Taita Meshugana. The guy told me himself he's cured. Thanks to Mendel. I cured him in a few days. And I'm getting phone calls. This doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to go away. What do you mean it's not supposed to go away? You ever hear of the Eibishter? Yeah, but this is different. What do you mean it's different? You ever hear of the Eibishter? You could do it. I'm a very... I was on the phone the other day. Somebody called me up. Nebuch. He has trouble with his wife. She's tight, like halba this. I says, watch this. I'll give you a bracha. Dr. Bracha. I called him 2 hours later. Tell me the truth. Did you see a major improvement? Yes, I did. See? That was my bracha. I'm not mispoiled. If you're not mispoiled, you can't have a spilus. Spilus is to look at Yosef HaTzadik. He pox his brothers. He's not scared of nothing. I want to tell you what I say. Reb Yerucham, Reb Nosson Zatzal, get Leket Rishimis. I want to recommend. Get Leket Rishimis. Reb Uben Hochster, Talmud Buvik of Reb Nosson. On Chanukah. Is that gewaldig? In Novandig, they loved it. Reb Isaac used to learn Leket Rishimis. It was like, now when he says, Reb Yerucham, listen closely now. I'm going to check with you. You should be Michael me. I know a certain person who, there's a yellow mind when I talk a lot about, well, I'm getting reports. This guy says, Mendel, you talk so much about going out and doing, therefore I'm doing this and that. It's kedai. If I can get people more activated, listen to this. Reb Nosson used to always say, you got to do something. You got to do. This younger man, the first day of Chanukah, I'm not telling everybody to do it, but I'm just giving you hasagas. He told this to me. First day of Chanukah, he has 8 functions. He has for men, for women, for seniors, for juniors, for teenagers, 8 functions. He is in charge in the first hour. Don't ask me how he does it. First day and the second day. Another 8. Afterwards, I lost touch with him. What a person's doing with his life. What a person puts kaitis to Klal Yisrael to help people. Functions for curing. Helping people. What you can do with your life. It's such a pity. Now the mashgiach, the Nosson, he brought a riot. Listen to the story of the wife of the sister of Matasiyo, of the Chashmoneh. She comes under the chuppah. They had a rule. Tibar laheg tchila. The first thing is going to happen. The local nobleman got a hold of her, and she's under the chuppah, and she did something very inappropriate. And the brothers, the Maccabees, took a sword. They wanted to kill her. And she says, you want to kill me? Why don't you channel your kanoyas against the Hegmai? What do? You don't do anything? You let all the Jewish girls go through this Rachmana litzlan and everyone's quiet? Everyone sits, well, what never, and you fetch. You say a few kapitlach, that's what you do? Why, if you're so angry, do something. They said, you got a good idea. And they said like this, okay, we're going to have some fun. They went, they got a message, sent a message to the king. They said, look, our sister is the daughter of a Kohen Gadol. Daughter of a Kohen Gadol doesn't pass just to a Hegmai. If a guy wants to be, we're daughter of Kohen Gadol, we want the king himself. It was possible for you. So the king said, that's a good thought. He liked the husband. He says, come, we're bringing her over. They came, they brought her over, and as soon as they walked into his palace, they killed him on the spot, and all his avodim, all his chaver around him went berserk, and that was the beginning of the revolt. Mashgiach brings us like a Rishinas. What did she have to do something so crazy? If nothing crazy happens, people don't move. You need something crazy to happen. That'll wake him up. I had a Maisa. More than once, when there's an urgency, somebody comes over to me today. He's depressed. I know the guy. He's murdered, and I'm right. You are full of baloney. You're depressed, and he's getting worse and worse, but I'm depressed. Why are you depressed? I says, my dear friend, if there was during Pearl Harbor, when the Japanese bombed the United States in Pearl Harbor, there was a woman there, an invalid, who was super shy, who never couldn't open her mouth, when suddenly going through Gehenna with depression, with anxiety, and OCD, and OCD, and bipolar, whatever she is, she had it all. She wasn't worth much. And suddenly, there are people getting killed left and right. They sunk ships. There was emergency massive, and they needed every person. And she realized she better do something. So she got involved. She started saving people and making phone calls to relatives, whatever they had to do there. And she became a new person out of the wheelchair. I was sick on Pesach, on Purim. I couldn't move. I had Epstein-Barr, one of these things where you're out, you can't move. And I'm in bed, I can't. Suddenly, Yehida Sablau comes over to me. There was a younger man who used to collect for him, Talmud Chacham, a Tyree. I had a shtickle achrayus for making money for him. He says, Mendel, there's a $5,000 check right here. See it? You make $5,000, I'm matching it. I remember the way he took the check like this, and he started ripping it in front of me. You got 2 hours, and Purim is over. In these 2 hours, you make me $5,000, you're getting this. I'm matching it. You're giving him $10,000. You don't make me $5,000? See? Ready? Set? All right? Okay, just 1 second. Okay, what? 1 second. I got out of bed, and I made $5,000. And I was cured! Ice Epstein-Barr. You know, Epstein-Barr is a condition. What happened to your condition? When you have an urgency and you have a fire, I want to zaytu to the Mashgiach's vod. Chanukah is a yom tov of fire, Milchama. People need war, says the Heilige Mashgiach Zatzal. He was zeicher. His Einikoch. The best part of the Mashgiach is his Einikoch, especially Aaron Burstein. But listen to this. Competition. I asked the boys in my class, boys, what would you rather do? Go outside for recess and sit, look at the birds, look at the trees, or be in a game. A game. We all want a game. But what happens if the game doesn't go so good? We don't care. Game. But what happens if you're going to lose? We don't care. We want to be in the game. What if the other team is yelling at you that you messed up everything? I mean, your team, and it's not working. We don't care. We want the game. A person needs to be alive. They need a certain energy. It's gesund. When they left Mitzrayim, it was Tzivos Hashem, soldiers. What do you need that for? They're fighting already. They just left Mitzrayim. You're a soldat, you'll be a happy person. You won't have OCD, no GP, no but Shalom Bayis, but then, and he didn't like me, and this, but what's time for this garbage? When the Mashgiach said, Vos me, get out and do. I tell people, put this out, look at this. We have Rabbi Fried and Rabbi, you have this thing on Kinna, that thing, he does plenty, he's still here already. We have Rabbi Yafi, everybody here is great. Everybody's Givaldi. And the more, the better. To do for Klal Yisrael. 9:01. How much more do I have to go? Anyway, so Chanukah is a time of fire. Menorah. Try to get some bima spalo. The main thing is tefillah, just daven. You know, I want to tell you something. I don't like to talk about this particular person. I had a big shaila about making kal v'chaimes from Goyim, from Shkotzim. I didn't want to do it, but the Shomer Amunim, listen to this, Shagets. Winston Churchill. He wasn't a tzaddik. They kicked him out. The Nazis were taking over the world. By the way, you know who he was, Winston Churchill? He was an American Indian. Isn't that interesting? No wonder he was so good. The English guy should be as good as it. I'm joking. Anyway, but he was a Chevraman. And this other guy who was a Taita Meshugana, he was the head of the country. He was best friends with Hitler and Machshavai. He wanted to become, he really wants peace. Hitler's a good man. He wants peace. He's just trying to scare us a little bit. And he was in action. And Churchill was screaming his head off. And he says, this guy's going to take over the world. He's dangerous like crazy. And they didn't listen to him. They kicked him out of Parliament. For 5 years, he was nowhere. They say those 5 years, he kept writing and saying what he felt. I can't do, at least let me say. B'Seif, what happened with Seif? When finally Great Britain woke up to fight against the Nazis, they had just conquered France. They just get Sudetenland, Norway, they and Czechoslovakia, they just invaded a whole chunk of that. And one after another, they started. And now, so England realized, you better do something fast. It was late, it was overdue. They had 100 whatever, they had a couple of planes there. They said a third of those planes didn't work. The others didn't have spare parts. They were in the garbage can. And they weren't going to win the war. They didn't stand a chance. And this Shagets, we are going to fight, and never are we going to give in. And repeat it again. Never our Shagets. No Yush! Now, America saw the way he dealt with things. He said, this is our best hour. They started the war. You're crazy. They're going to kill you. These Nazis, these blood. Everybody hated them. The whole world. That's why they had to chop up Germany. You know, as soon as they decided to call themselves Germany, you know who did this? Bismarck. You heard of him? Bismarck. I'm afraid I know too much. It's Pastor Yeshiva Bacha. Review the Jacobs used to tell me a lot of this stuff. Rabbits and Rishel also. We used to talk about history. Nishkefel. But Bismarck, he was by Kaiser Wilhelm the First. And they say Kaiser Wilhelm the First was scared of him. Bismarck was this heavy Teutonic, a real German. He's the one that started the Franco-Prussian War. He got all the Germanic states, Bavaria, Moravia, all these German, they were different countries. He was the one that said, was it angered Germany that France hates us, and therefore we got to fight him back. It was all a bluff. He made up a whole joke. Check it out. He was a Chevraman. And they went to war and they won. As soon as they won, the Germans won, because they had to get he got everybody organized again. They changed the name from Prussia. It used to be called Prussia, Germany. The main part of it was Prussia. He changed it to Germany. And Chazal say, Germania shel Edom, Gemara Megillah, watch out, they'll take over the world. Now that name Germany was not Negea until he gave it that stempel. And right after that, they started World War I, and then they started World War II. And Mamish, the Kiyam of Chazal, according to Reb Shulei Diskin, Yosef Chaim Zodafel did not want to come out of Yerushalayim to greet the Kaiser Wilhelm II. It was the second or the first?
Second.
The second. Kaiser, he's the one that started World War I. Kaiser Wilhelm II. And he didn't want to greet him. There's pictures of him with Masaryk, no? He's pictures with this one, with King George, no? He was the chief rabbi of Yerushalayim. Come inside. So he came in to greet everybody. His pictures. But he heard, the Germans coming. I'm not coming out to greet him. I have a Kabbalah from my Rebbe, Reb Shulei Diskin, that Germany is Amalek. The Simonecha, they're super nice people on the outside. I had a book once years ago, Baruch Hashem. I'm only saying you're good times. I don't have any secular books in my house. I can't. I don't like them. But I once had a book for an encyclopedia, and it had Germany or Berlin. And I remember it said in the book, it was written in 1938. One year later, we'll find that you want to meet a city of nice people, go to Berlin. Everyone's nice. Super nice people. Rabbi Miller had an experience where this elderly German guy helped him with his suitcase, and he went out of his way for him. A German guy he was a Bachi, Yeshiva Bachi. He was going on a train, and he couldn't say, I will help you, of course. This German guy, and he helps him, helps him. I had my own experience. I was once on a plane, and one stop was in Frankfurt, and this German guy was looking at me. I was walking back and forth. He was crazy, and then he said, come, let's talk. And he told me how much he loves the Jews. He told me, hold on, I'm looking, And he told me how much he loves it. I'm listening. Very interesting. And I refuse to go like this, Usually I'm a nice guy. I shake my head. Over here, I was like, that's so interesting. By the way, you know what he said? You know why I like the Jews? Because they fight. The Jews fight. They're good. These Israelis, I like good fighters. Now, it's a W. Doer. Rabbi Hirsch Kamatzicha. He says it, that Amalek loves war. They don't like us because we fight and learning. See, a person has to fight.